Everyone lies about their lives. What would happen if you shared the truth instead? You are Vietnamese. You have to know and remember your roots. What's my real identity? Why do I really have to label my identity? Hello everyone, welcome to my podcast. My name is Camilla if you guys don't know me yet, and I've been suddenly hit by the urge to really talk my heart out. So welcome to this podcast on the sense of belonging. I've actually just picked up a book that I've bought quite a long time ago. It's called The Authenticity Project, and it has asked a few very important questions, which I'd really want to share with you guys. So maybe you could also reflect on it yourself as well. So, at the very beginning, it says everyone lies about their lives. What would happen if you shared the truth instead? The one thing that defines you, that makes everything else about you fall into place. Not on the internet, but with those real people around you. And that made me really think about everything in my life, actually. I've actually started journaling, but then I thought that maybe I want to share this with people. Maybe I want to give my heart to people. And I have just been very closed off, and everything that was in my life was very much a small talk, nothing deeper, no more deeper meaning into this. And so when I started writing in my journal, I started from the sense of belonging. I feel like the hardest truth about myself is that I've never really felt like I belonged anywhere where I lived. Um, it's very ironic because even though I dream of this international life, I dream of living elsewhere where I wasn't born. Um, I never felt like I have, I had a place on this earth. And it makes me really sad when I think about it because I was born in Poland, and when I was younger, I never thought that there was something wrong. And there isn't anything wrong. It's just, ever since I was young, I always thought that there is something more than just me being in Poland, me being born in Poland. That doesn't straight up make me Polish right away. To some people, I mean, because to them, it is about the way you look. And what I mean by that is that, as you can see, I do not look Polish at all. Um, and I didn't really get that concept because thankfully I was surrounded by a lot of people in my life that didn't care about things like that. My friends, all of them were Polish, all of them were white, and they never cared about it. They always played with me, they always talked to me, and they were always kind to me. But it was the outside people, it was the elders that actually made me realize that, hmm, maybe there is something that differentiates me from others. And it was also my parents that always told me that you are Vietnamese. And even though you were brought up here in Poland, you come from a Vietnamese household. You have to know and remember your roots, which I completely understand because they risked so much coming to Poland. They did it all for their families, my parents, I mean. And I completely understand that because their home is Vietnam. But for most of my life, I thought that Poland is my home. However, the concept has changed, and I realized that home is actually people and how I felt, how where I had my comfort zone, where I had the space to relax was in people, and it was not in a physical space. And the reason why I started really thinking about it from such a young age because it would be people who asked me questions like, do you feel more Vietnamese or do you feel more Polish? And then I would try to fit in, and then I would say like, in an environment where there would be mostly Polish people, then I would just say, yes, I feel Polish. But then when it would be at home, then I would always say, yes, of course, I remember I'm Vietnamese. I'll always be Vietnamese. And that's why it also made me think a lot about what's my real identity? Why do I really have to label my identity? Because obviously there are pros and cons of every place that I've lived in. And somehow it made me only feel more distant to the both cultures that I've experienced. Because Vietnam is also not my home, realistically speaking, because I was not really brought up there. I was there for the first 2 years of my life. When I was super, super young and little, I didn't know a thing. So I can't really say that that was my home either. I only go to Vietnam to visit my family, and I really cherish those moments. But unfortunately, I do treat it just like a vacation, a breather from my everyday life. So I can't really call it home either. It's the people that make my stay there super comforting and warm. So if I could, I would call them my home. But the same thing is with my parents. I would call them my home, but not, you know, the physical space that I had that my parents live in. And now that I have come to this stage in my life where I move on average once a year, because I am studying in the Netherlands. I'm going to be a master's student and I have recently moved to a new city. Um, it really made me question a lot about my identity and about the need to move so much. Because to be honest, I would rather stay in one place and not move anywhere. But that's because that would be the most comfortable and the most convenient for me. So I am very avoidant when it comes to things like that. And I would really rather own my own space or have my own space rather than have to move around so much like I am right now. But, anyways, going back to the topic of the belonging. Um, in the Netherlands, there are so many different cultures. You go out and you see so many different people. And that's why I felt like, oh, finally, I am in a place where I won't be looked down, or I won't get any stares at least. And that was true. That is still true. People in the Netherlands are really welcoming and kind. But I think that I've always thought of the Netherlands as my temporary space. I never really put in an effort to accommodate myself in this country because I always thought that, okay, I'm going to go to my studies here for my studies here, and after that, I'm probably going to move somewhere else and I'm going to live somewhere else. So why do I have to do this? I have to go out of my way to um, localize myself, let's just say. But that is one mistake that I really regret because now I feel the most lonely I've ever had. Because, to be honest, I don't think I have a lot of friends. I know a lot of people, I talk to some people, but I don't really have very close friends. I would even say my university friends, the friends that I made at university, they don't know a lot about me. And our conversations would be very much about how our everyday life is going, but they don't know about everything that happened before university. And that's really sad because I would love to share that part of my life with them. And I would love to meet new people, but would want those people to be a part of my life for longer than just a year, a couple of months. Because if not for life, then why? Yes, but that's the truth about the Netherlands. I really like this country. I could imagine myself living here, to be fair, but I think my heart lies somewhere else. And I'm really scared to make changes. I really felt that when I first moved to the Netherlands in 2023, but also 2 weeks ago when I was packing out of my studio in Tilburg and I had to move here. And suddenly everything was changing. I was, I graduated, my boyfriend was moving out, I was moving out, and everything accumulated. And my head was in a very anxious space. Um, I did not feel comfortable. I was anxious all the time, and I was crying for a lot of the time as well because I felt so lonely, even though I was still with my boyfriend, I was still surrounded by people. But at the end of the day, I was like, who really knew me except for my boyfriend? Who really knew me? And I felt that was really lonely because, as I said before, the sense of belonging comes from the people. The people are what I call my home. But right now, I don't really feel anything, I guess. I still haven't really talked to my housemates. I haven't really done anything in this new city. And I'm trying. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone. I'm trying to go out, spend some time in the center, or like do anything, but it doesn't really involve any social interactions. That's why I think it's not really helping me, I guess. All of my best friends, my cousins are in Poland, so I can't really do anything about that either because I decided to commit. And I found a barista job. So thankfully, through that, I'll be able to meet people. But again, I don't know. Hopefully, I'll be able to make stronger connections than just customers or my coworkers. And so I think that's about that, how I feel as of currently. I was honestly a bit bummed out about the fact that I could not find a studio to live in again, but now that I think about it, I think it's better that I found this apartment and I live with two other girls. So hopefully I won't be as lonely or alone. I'll always have this comfort of knowing that someone else is home and that at the end of the day I still have the option to talk to someone. mm, Me and my boyfriend are going back to long distance. We're doing it properly now for 1 year. So that will be hard on me, but I've also become less attached, so I'm really proud of myself for that because I've come a really long way, okay? Like we've been together for 2 years now, and the first time we experienced long distance was right at the beginning of our relationship as well. So I was very anxiously attached. I would cry every so often because of how much I missed my boyfriend. But right now I've come to this point of in I've come to this point in my life where I want to better myself. I want to improve myself and I really want to become a better person for myself. And of course, my boyfriend is still in the picture. um, he's still a very huge, important part of my life. And I literally want to marry that man. I want to live with him. Um, but it's just right now, there's time and space for us both to improve personally in our lives. And when we come back, we're going to become stronger together. So obviously, I still miss him. Um, but I think it would be very unhealthy for me if I was just hung up on that feeling of missing someone. So now I guess I'm just lonely. That contradicts with everything that I just said. But but I think I'm just at peace of balancing those emotions out. That I'm okay with missing someone because I know that something better will come out of this. So I'm okay with this, I guess. So now, whenever I have this urge to talk and I don't have anyone to talk to, I'll pick up this tiny microphone that I don't even know if it's working because I see like a red light coming out of my iPad, but I don't know what this means. But if it's not working, then I'll try my best next time. But uh, I'm not the greatest with the technology, so. Also, I'm really sorry for the noise outside. I live right next to the street, so like it's really loud and it's just really, really loud, but I can't really do anything about it. So please forgive me for that. So yes, this was the first episode of my iPadcast. I think that's what I'm going to name it. If I change it in the future, then I'll change it in the future. Because right now, I think I'm going to call it iPadcast, because I'm recording it on my iPad, and it's a podcast, so it's an iPadcast. You get me? But you can also suggest other names for it. I don't know how many people are going to watch this. I don't care if no one really watches it. I just feel relieved that I have a space to share this. Um, because, okay, I was supposed to end this, but one more story before I leave. I always recorded mini vlogs on Snapchat and I would send it to some random internet friends that I would make, but also to my friends in real life. And I would not really care about it if they really listened to it or watched it. But I just always felt the comfort of knowing that I can send it to someone. It's kind of a way for me to let everything go and let it all out. So I guess this is also what it is for me, this podcast. That's why I really don't mind when I don't have a lot of views on my videos. I don't have a lot of likes, comments, whatever. I'm just first and foremost doing it for myself. And that brings me a lot of comfort that at least I can break free from this fear of posting that I used to have for a really long time. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys soon, when I have the urge to record again. But that was it for today, and I'll see you guys next time.